Hello everyone, my name is Yuchen, and I'm a 17-year-old high school student currently living in Hong Kong. But my story begins in mainland China, where I was born into a generation shaped by one of the most ambitious and controversial social experiments in history, China's one-child policy. I grew up never hearing the words brother or sister, because in my world, for all the families around me, they didn't exist. But everything changed in 2019 when I moved to Hong Kong. Suddenly, I was surrounded by classmates from all over the world. India, Bulgaria, the UK, Australia. And most of them had siblings. Some had 2, even 3. I remember one friend casually complaining about her younger sister stealing her snacks. And I thought, wait, you have a sister? And you're annoyed, but also kind of happy. That was the moment I started wondering, what if I had siblings? Would I be different? Would I be better off, or worse? That curiosity led me to explore the topic more deeply. And eventually, when I took a summer course at the University of Chicago, I had the chance to do deep research in a group of 5, and wrote a paper titled, "Does Having Siblings Negatively Affect One's Social and Economic Outcomes?" We used data from China's one-child policy and families with multiple births in the US to explore how family size affects a child's development, education, and future income. Let me walk you through what I learned and why it matters. Traditional models argue that parents have a fixed amount of resources, time, money, attention, and addition of kids naturally means lower investment in education, emotional support, and opportunities. In short, more kids, less quality. This idea is backed by studies like Judith Blake's 1981 research, which found that children from larger families in the US tended to have fewer years of education and lower IQ scores. The logic seems simple. If you're one of 5 kids, your parents can't spend as much on your tutoring, extracurriculars, or even just talking to you at dinner. But here's where things get interesting. China's one-child policy created a massive natural experiment. For over 3 decades, millions of families were restricted to having just one child. This allowed researchers to isolate the effect of being an only child. A 2023 study by Cheng et al. Used data from over 90,000 individuals and found that only children in China earned 22% more than those with siblings. That's a huge difference. It supports the quantity-quality model. Fewer children means more investment per child, which lead to more education and higher income. As an only child myself, I couldn't help but wonder, am I part of this trend? Have I benefited from being the sole focus of my parents' attention and resources? Maybe. But the story doesn't end here. In the US, researchers took a different approach. Julio Garcia del Piano used data from families that had multiple births, like twins or triplets, as a kind of natural experiment. These families didn't plan to have more kids. It just happened. That randomness helps eliminate bias from things like income or parental preferences. His findings were nuanced. Yes, having more children reduced market-based investments, like private school enrollment and mothers' working hours. But surprisingly, it didn't significantly affect child outcomes like educational attainment. Why? Because families often adapt. They might cut back on spending, but increased home-based investments, like parents spending more time teaching, or older siblings helping younger ones. In developed countries, this flexibility helps buffer the impact of having more kids. So, it is true that families allocate resources when there's a new child, but they do it in a way so that the effect on each child is minimized. Now here's the twist that really challenged my assumptions. A study by Nancy Chen looked at regions in China where the one-child policy was relaxed, especially in rural areas and among ethnic minorities. She found that having a sibling actually increased the likelihood of school enrollment for the firstborn child by up to 16%. Even more surprising, the effect was strongest when the siblings were of the same sex. Firstborn girls with younger sisters were 20% more likely to be enrolled in school than those without siblings. Why? Economies of scale and sibling spillovers. Think about it. Siblings can share resources, help each other with homework, and provide emotional support. Older siblings often teach younger ones, and younger siblings motivate older ones through competition or companionship. These benefits are especially strong in same-sex pairs who tend to bond more closely. So where does that leave me? As an only child, I have probably received more focused attention and resources than I would have with siblings. My parents could afford to send me to better schools, invest in my hobbies, and support my move to Hong Kong. I am grateful for that. But I also wonder what I missed. When I blew out my birthday candles, the room was always quiet after the applause. No one fought over the last piece of cake. That's when I realized. Sometimes, abundance isn't just about more, but about connection. Watching my classmates interact with their siblings, I saw something I didn't have. A built-in support system. Someone who understands you in a way no one else can. And maybe that kind of bond contributes to success in ways that aren't captured by income or IQ scores. This research has broader implications. Governments often design family policies based on economic models, like the quantity-quality trade-off. But real life is more complex. Families are dynamic. They adapt, they substitute, they support each other in ways that models can't always predict. In developed regions, family may be able to offset the cost of having more children, while in rural or less developed areas, siblings might actually enhance child outcomes through shared learning and emotional support. Additionally, as AI becomes more integrated into education and household life, it's changing the way families allocate resources through offering personalized tutoring, emotional support tools, and even helping parents manage time more efficiently. In a way, AI might be the new sibling substitute or the equalizer. So when we talk about policies that limit or encourage fertility, we need to consider not just economics, but also culture, context, and the human experience. As I stand here today, I am still an only child, but I am no longer alone in my thinking. This journey, from wondering about my classmates' siblings to diving into economic research, has taught me that family size is not just a number. It's a story of trade-offs, adaptation, and unexpected benefits. Whether you're an only child like me, one of 5, or somewhere in between, your family structure shapes you, but it doesn't define you. And maybe the question isn't whether we will be better off without siblings, but how we can live beyond what you are born into. We may not choose how many siblings we have, but we can choose how many people we stand by. Thank you.